Hello guys, and welcome to an NGB video review. This time it's for LEGO Dimensions. You've got Ben, that's myself, and I'm joined by Andy. How are we doing?
Oh, we're not doing too bad.
Good. Right, so this is LEGO Dimensions. It's Warner Brothers' Toys to Life game, based around the enormously popular and hugely successful LEGO games series. Only this time round, you get a portal, and on that, you put proper LEGO on it. I don't really know what else I can say about it other than that. There's a written review up on the site, but the basic premise is I really like it. I'm currently, just sort of mooching around the hub world, which is essentially where you can view all of the stuff for the characters that you've purchased. There are 3 as standard that you can access, which is the DC Comics universe, the Lego Movie 1 and Lord of the Rings, because you get Batman, Wildstyle and Gandalf in the starter kit. And then for all of the other ones, you can access them with a single purchase of just a character if you want to. You don't have to spend a lot of money on the individual level packs, apart from Portal, which is the only one that has a level pack available, nothing else.
So is this more in the vein then of say their recent game, the Lego Jurassic World, then, which has a kind of its own hub world, but then it has almost sort of branching hub worlds for each of the different stories going off that. So is that kind of how this goes? Each world has its own hub world, or?
Yeah, I mean, you've like looking at this now. I'm sort of stood next to the Simpsons one. You have to have Homer, Bart, or Krusty.
Right.
And you put them on the toy pad, and then that'll allow your party into the Simpsons world.
Okay.
And vice versa. With all of the ones there. Yeah. There are some where like individual figures aren't even out yet. For example, the Ghostbusters world and the Doctor Who world, and the Midway Arcade one. Which I'm quite intrigued by, the Midway Arcade one.
I'm very intrigued by the Midway Arcade one, actually. I wasn't aware that was a thing until the kind of pre-release press releases that they put out, which pointed out, isn't it something like 20 Midway Arcade machines?
Yeah, I think
that you can actually play.
Yeah, I think they said there's about 25 different games. So what I'm going to do is jump into a story mission here.
Okay.
Which is the Once Upon a Time in the West, I do believe it's called.
Okay.
This is set in a nice old western town around the mid 1880s, shall we say, which should give you a clue as to who might show up in the level.
Is it kind of similar to the western scenario from the Lego Movie?
A little bit,
yeah.
Only it's set in it's set in in an American town, and it's immediately familiar to anyone that's watched a certain series of films.
Shall we say? I see.
Yes.
See where this is going. Yes.
Yeah. So it's good fun. The biggest criticism I've got of it is really the pricing for the individual figures. I mentioned this in the in the initial review. The problem is, I would say, is that £15 for a single character and a gadget / vehicle is a little bit much. The level packs, they're priced at £30, and I think you can almost justify those, because you do get a lot of content. You get probably an extra hour and a half mission. And then on top of that, you also get the access to the hub worlds, as I say, and there's a lot of things to do in the hub worlds.
Well, 30 quid's around about the same price of entry as the Disney Infinity add-on level packs.
Yes.
But I mean, they've come down over time as well.
Yeah. So I'm struggling to think that they're going to come down too much, because Lego's notorious for holding its value.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I was going to say. As a parent who's been buying Lego for the last probably 7 years now, one of the things, there's 2 things that you notice with Lego, is that the price only ever goes up. It very rarely comes down, and the franchised sets are always far more expensive than the generic Lego City sets.
Yes. And that's one of the things that is to be expected. And with it being a video game as well, you've got the base pack for the new gen consoles is £80.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest I can find it online.
Yeah.
And in store as well. It's not a cheap game. It's not a cheap premise.
No.
But the thing is, once you've gotten into it, it is a lot of fun, and there is a hell of a lot of stuff to do. I mean, if I were to load my save up from scratch, I think I've probably put about 16, 17 hours into it since launch.
I can't criticise the Lego games at all. I mean, I know there's been some that haven't been quite so spot on, but they've always been massive amounts of fun.
Yes.
So
I mean, that's the beauty of them. They're accessible for kids, and also for big kids like myself as well. They're just a good laugh.
Yeah.
So, talking of those additional characters, I may have spent a small fortune on
I think you
extra
have,
stuff.
haven't you?
Yeah, I've kind of got quite a lot, and the folks over at Warner, full disclosure, they sent a few packs over for us as well. So, I'll just, once this little cutscene's over, I will go through and show you what happens when you put a new character on the pad. So all you do, you pop them on, they immediately pop up in the world, and there's little Gollum. So with Gollum, if I were to switch to him now, you get this come up, which is the booklet, which essentially tells you how to make the other thing that's come up in the game, that's in the package, sorry.
So that's like virtual Lego instructions, isn't it?
Yes, and when you open up your level packs, and when you open up your fun packs and your team packs, you'll find that there's only a small booklet which covers how to create the figure themselves. Yeah. So.
So do you actually put the minifigures together then?
Yes, you put the minifigure together.
That's interesting. I kind of assumed, because the minifigures represented whole characters, that they would be fixed together effectively, so they couldn't be dismantled.
No, they're it is like proper sort of old, proper genuine Lego. So you get literally everything comes in. When you then create your character or whatever, you then put that, once you've built it, you put it in the center on the toy pad, and then it that writes to the toy tag. So you then that's then written on there.
So you own that character then.
Yes, so then that, much in the same way as you do with Skylanders and Disney Infinity, it levels your character up and everything's saved on the tag itself.
But you can have up to 6 characters on the base at any one time to switch between.
Up to 7.
Up to 7.
Yes.
What, with one in the middle as well?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So there's it's 7, and it's a mixture of characters and or vehicles and or gadgets. So there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, gameplay-wise, as you can see, it is essentially a Lego game. There's nothing too new apart from this kind of stuff. It's good, perfect timing, actually. If you can see here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's an image that's glowing and pulsing of the toy pad. So what we have to do here is, while Style has, she's stood there, what we have to do is actually pick the character up physically, put her on a different section of the toy pad, then put her on the top part, then put her on the right-hand side, and then in the game, she reacts to that, and she builds up the new large camera. So it's a nice twist. It really is. There is, there are some really nice gameplay elements where that kind of stuff plays in. There's fairly simple puzzles, where you've got you've got like color mixing and things like that, and it's all relatively straightforward because it's essentially a kid's game. But
I mean, this kind of didn't Skylanders introduce sort of a similar sort of base switching mechanic in the Trap Team game, where you actually have little figures which kind of affect the game in other ways when placed on the base, but certainly not to this extent where you actually have to use the different areas of the base.
Yes, I mean that was the thing with Skylanders Swap Force. They changed it up so you could have you basically got the characters and split them in 2, and then depending on how you mix them together, that they would then appear slightly differently in the game. Lego doesn't go that far in terms of the characters, but as you say, it does with the base itself. So just here, there's a block which over the other side of this fence, we've got a lady called Clara Clayton. Again, might be a bit of a clue as to where this level is. She's Clara Clayton.
Yeah, oh yeah, she sounds familiar,
yeah. So she's in trouble, but in order to save her, we need to do something with this plant that's on the floor. So if we press this button, it says only characters such as Aquaman can grow plants with their spray. So
that would have been a very different film.
Yes. So if we have a look in there, we can then see that Aquaman, Krusty the Clown, and a few of the vehicles can do that.
Yeah.
So if you want to do literally everything in the game, you're gonna have to spend some money.
Yeah.
It's it's the way these games work. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a shame, given that the Lego games typically have the unlock progression that they do.
Yeah. I'm glad at least though that you know what you can buy, because I mean I'm surprised in a way that Lego didn't go the blind bag route that they've done with sort of like the minifigures. And in fact, I reviewed the Lego minifigures online game a few weeks back.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which kind of piggybacks onto the blind bag minifigures mechanic and allows you to unlock characters early when you find them in minifigure bags.
Okay.
So in a way, it's surprising, but also a relief that they didn't go down that route and say, well, certain characters you can only get by buying blind bags, because that would be a cruel and unusual punishment for Lego.
It would, and I think going the way they have done is it's a good thing.
Yeah,
you can say, right, I want to buy the Scooby-Doo pack, and then go out and buy the Scooby-Doo pack. So this, what's happened there is it's another little gameplay trick where these little blue bits in the world have they'll have a symbol above them, and when you hit that, it will do different things in the world. So that one there was trying to find something from another dimension and bring it into this current one. Okay. What actually happens is the toy pad glows either green or red, depending on how sort of how well you're getting and how well you're searching for stuff. So if you're walking in the right direction, it glows green. If you're walking in the wrong direction, it glows red. And
so it's like a sort of a radar sort of thing as well.
Yeah, and then when you get close to the area that the prompt comes up and you hit circle, then you tap circle repeatedly and it brings in another object from a different dimension, which will help you progress in the level. So it's quite nice. Again, it's another way of increasing the gameplay. And here's Doc Brown in the DeLorean.
Of course there is.
So it leads us nicely actually onto the voice acting.
Absolutely, I was absolutely impressed with the cast for this.
Yeah, the cast is incredible. You've got Chris Pratt from obviously the Lego Movie and also Lego Jurassic World. He's in this game twice. You've got Christopher Lloyd. You've got Michael J. Fox. You've got Nolan North. Joel McHale as well from off of Community. Yeah, Joel McHale and Elizabeth Banks. Again from the Lego Movie. Is Will Arnett from the Lego Movie voicing Batman in this one? You see, there are two Batmen in this game. So there is the Batman that you play normally, who sounds a lot like Batman from like the like the Arkham games. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. But the Will Arnett Batman is quite amusing, and when you get to that area in the game, it's quite funny. The two of them have a conversation with each other, which so it's not actually Lego Movie Batman then that you control for the most of it. Spoiler. No, it's sort of standard Lego Batman. And then there's Lego Movie Batman as well, and Lego Movie Batman is as he is in the film. Everything's got to be black. Of course. Well, of course there is a Lego Movie Batman movie coming out soon. There was just too many things in that sentence for me to comprehend. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that you'll spend your time doing. You'll be punching things and moving things and building things and then punching more things and picking up studs and everything else. So it's fairly standard Lego fare. Yes, absolutely. With the with the toy pad stuff in there. if you don't like Lego games, this isn't going to be the one to turn you, because it's the most Lego of Lego games.
And if you don't like Lego games, there is something horribly wrong with you.
I wouldn't go that far, because
controversial comment.
Because like comments and that. But yeah, the other thing as well is as we mentioned about the voice cast, the licenses for this game. I think there's 14 off the top of my head. I think there's 14, which some of them are Lego's own properties. Yep. So. You have the likes of Lego Chima and the Ninja. Is it Ninjago or Ninjago? I don't know how it's pronounced.
It's pronounced in the cartoon. It's pronounced Ninjago. Again, I have kids. I have an excuse to know these things.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, you've got their franchises there, but then you also have all of the licensed stuff, and the licensed stuff ranges from Back to the Future through to. Obviously the Lego Movie, then you've also got Jurassic World, you've got the Midway Arcade stuff, Doctor Who stuff, and loads of other stuff that's going on. And Portal,
that's a big surprise to me. Portal came out of nowhere when it was announced for this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the main reasons that I wanted to get it. Because I was intrigued by the actual Lego itself, and B, what they were going to do with it. And the Portal stuff, even if you just get the starter pack, because that's one of the good things the starter pack does, is it has every license that the game has. You've got at least one level related to that license in the game, so you can experience those characters in a kind of a controlled environment. So whilst you can only play as the characters that you own, you will interact with the other ones, and you'll be in the environments and everything else. So the Portal level, for example, it's so well done in the main game. Like, just when you hear Steve Merchant come back as Wheatley and GLaDOS as well, the second you hear that, you just think this just makes sense. And like the whole level, it is so beautifully done. I had a massive smile on my face all the way through the entire level. Well, I actually got a chance. I have briefly played Dimensions at EGX, and the Portal level was the one that they were showing, and that kind of it made me want to run out and buy the game. But the fact that again, I have Christmas presents to buy for youngsters, and that may be on the agenda. Yes, because for the kids, obviously, I have an excuse. Yes, I mean, I don't have kids. You have no excuse whatsoever. My excuse is that I just like Lego, so I have children. You're just a man child. Yeah, that'll pretty much do it, I think. But yeah, like, it's as we've said, it's standard Lego fare. It's not going to blow anyone's minds in terms of gameplay, but the stuff that they've done with the toy pad is genuinely quite unique, and it's quite interesting. And as I say, ultimately, you can get actual bits of Lego to play with, and who doesn't love that? Absolutely. Again, you're dead inside if you don't like Legos. So that's the back of the box quote there. Yeah. Yes. That's it. Yeah. Totally. Dead inside if you don't like this game. NGB. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask or discuss? I think if you're well versed in the Lego games, what you're seeing is fairly straightforward. It's fairly recognisable as a Lego game. I think, like you say, the charm of it comes from actually being able to have the Lego and build it and then dismantle it and lose the bits in the carpet. Yeah. Which is that's what you do with Lego, isn't it? Yeah, isn't that the unwritten rule? Yeah, and then stand on it, and then stand on them and swear loudly. Yes. But no, I mean, it looks incredibly good fun. I mean, the beauty is having real Lego. The beauty is these franchises that you mash up and cross over, which obviously is something that you can't do within kind of the franchise levels in something like Disney Infinity. You can only do that in the make and create toy box thing. Yes. I guess that's something that I almost I kind of wish that you could do within Dimensions would be that kind of make and create aspect of it, which considering it's Lego, it's a shame that you can't
go for that kind of Disney Infinity style, build your own game idea, which, yeah, I mean, with Infinity, it was fairly basic to start with, but over the last couple of games, and I haven't had a chance to really give Infinity 3 a good look yet, but from what I gather, the toy box has kind of almost become the focal point of the games. And the actual sort of campaign levels are almost secondary to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not been a feature of any Lego games in the past, so it would be wrong to mark it down for that. But it is a shame that they haven't tried to do something around that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it as more of a Toys to Life kind of game, it's probably going to be something that you think that could be done in a future iteration, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on what the future plans are for stuff at the minute. I know they've said that they have lots of plans for the future for the game.
It was a 3-year plan, wasn't it, that they've got?
Something like that, yeah. And obviously that would be quite interesting to see what they do. Yeah. Whilst I was talking about that, actually, it just reminded me of something that I did want to say about the licenses. The thing that I'm a little bit disappointed by the Simpsons license in the game.
You mentioned that in your review, didn't you?
No, I don't know if I did or not, but the Simpsons license seems to be... I know I did a live stream where I mentioned it.
Yeah. Right.
It just seems to be a bit... I don't know. Like I mean, obviously the game, it's fairly standard, but the licenses are what could make this game really special, and the Simpsons license is, quite a big license to have.
Yeah.
But they don't have the music. So you're sort of going around Springfield and you think, you know what, there's something not quite right about this, and you can't quite put your finger on what it is. And as you go through the game, you're just there thinking, I don't know why it doesn't feel right, and then all of a sudden, like in the Simpsons world and in the level pack that you get, and actually to some extent in the actual level in the game, you start to notice that a lot of the dialogue is kind of taken from episodes of the show,
right?
And there's nothing sort of bespoke for the game.
There's nothing sort of unique.
No, and it's one of the things where it's really strange, given that the Back to the Future world is so well done, and it's so authentic.
Yeah.
You have so much in the Back to the Future world where you've got as soon as you go into the Back to the Future hub world, you've got Huey Lewis and the News playing. You've got Michael J. Fox with brand new lines. You've got Christopher Lloyd sort of saying a few things as well.
Yeah.
It's really odd as to why that's not there with the Simpsons one. But, I haven't yet played much of the Scooby-Doo one because, I don't have that pack. There's a few things that I haven't done. So I don't know whether the Simpsons one's the outlier or the standard.
Well, I gather from sort of looking at the cast on IMDb and also from sort of reading stuff. For example, Doctor Who, I think, I think Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman recorded fresh material for it.
Yes.
And I think the same is said for Scooby-Doo as well. I gather that's a completely freshly recorded experience. I think Ghostbusters is somewhere in between.
Yeah, from what I can see, that
Harold
Ramis'
Ramis' lines taken obviously from archive material.
Yes,
and I think Bill Murray's as well.
Yeah, I know Dan Aykroyd's done some more stuff for the game. And that, to be honest, that's one of the level packs that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing. Yeah. And that that's going to be something that I pick up day one when that's out. So
it's the, I mean, Ghostbusters is the classic example of when video games kind of get that franchise thing right, with obviously the Ghostbusters video game that came out a few years back, which
that got a mixed reception, and I quite enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I could see where it probably, a lot of people felt that maybe the gameplay was a little bit generic and, probably a bit, didn't quite go deep enough. But for the sheer fact that it was, it was effectively Ghostbusters 3 in video game format, but it nailed that voice cast.
Yeah.
Which again is something that video games, particularly franchise video games, don't always do. And I believe Transformers Devastation is another sort of one that scores on that point for getting the original voice cast back.
I mean, the Transformers games have always been good about that stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, sort of pulling it back around to Dimensions.
Of course, yeah.
There's some, as you mentioned, some of the crossover stuff is truly fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably will never see things that have happened in this game happen anywhere else ever again, because I don't think you'll ever really need to see the Joker in Mr. Burns' office whilst Gandalf smacks a Cyberman in the face. It's one of those kind of
You've
things
lived.
where
Once you've seen that, that's it. Done.
yeah, wrap it up. Video games, Lego Dimensions is one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the back of the box quote, isn't it, from NGB?
Yeah.
Video games, you can go home. Lego Dimensions is one.
So, I mean, unless there's anything else that we can think to sort of talk about, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Absolutely.
That's Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun if you like Lego games. If you don't like Lego games, you get what you're gonna, you'll get what you get. It's not,
your mileage may vary.
Yeah, it's not going to change the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth it for me. I'm gonna slowly drain my bank account of pretty much everything. I think. I think I worked out that.
I'll be pleased with you.
Well, it's all right.
Look at all the Lego I've got.
The thing that I think I worked out is that if you wanted to buy literally everything from every franchise, it worked out about £750.
Good God.
But again, that's that if you buy everything from
everything,
Disney Infinity, it's going to cost a lot of money. So
it is, yeah.
One
of the things I will say, though, is that with something like Disney Infinity, and we came back to this on the price point earlier, is that the price of Lego only ever either stays the same or goes up, whereas you do tend to find that there are regular deals on things like Infinity and Skylanders.
Yes.
So whether that will affect the longevity, who knows?
Well, I hope that they don't sort of do an amiibo on this and keep the packs limited. I hope that they at least keep the packs there for a longer time so that you can actually, pick them up all in due course and do what you want to do with them. Even if you pick this game up 6-7 months down the line, you can buy everything that you want to.
Yeah.
That was the one last thing, actually. The one thing I do want to say is for the future expansions, Disney, just give Lego the licenses for Star Wars and Marvel. It will print money. It will just absolutely print money. Like the Lego Star Wars games are kind of what started this all off.
Yeah.
The Lego Marvel games have been good fun. Just let it happen, and we'll all be good.
We'll see. With something like Infinity,
I mean, I know. Obviously, they've got a vested interest to keep everything as as separate as possible, shall we say?
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably wrap it up there.
I don't know. I mean, Amiibo and Skylanders are crossed over.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's a fair point.
It's not unheard of, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. That's Disney Infinity. No, it's not Disney Infinity. It's Lego Dimensions. And yeah, sorry, I'll just redo that bit. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. That's Lego Dimensions. As we've said, it's kind of expensive, but as are most Toys to Life games, if you like Lego games, you'll probably love it. Cool. Stay tuned. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz that we normally say and nobody does. We'll be back soon with some more
subscribe. Damn
some
you.
more reviews. Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.